Hello guys, welcome to Field Skills. This is the second installment in our camp series that we're doing. And last time we set up our modified, adapted wheeling shelter with two inexpensive tarps, 6 foot by 8 foot tarps and a wood frame, and put our shelter up last time. Well, today what I want us to talk about and go through is setting up our camp kitchen and our camp fireplace to heat this shelter, to cook on, and so we're going to get started here. Now what I've done, I've already collected the materials that I want to use to build this camp kitchen, and what I would love to use rocks, good campfire type rocks, but here in South Mississippi we don't have those. They're hard to come by. Our creeks don't carry the big rocks like you would have, say, in the Appalachians and some of those streams, and farther north really. So I'm having to use wood, and what I've done, I've already pre-cut my reflector wall pieces we're going to use there and the stakes for it. I found a couple of old logs here that had been cut up from over there that I brought in with me to make my ends of my fire pit, and then some oak, a backlog there to kind of keep the fire off of the reflector wall, but a place to build it in front of. I hope we can get this video in. It's starting to sprinkle here a little bit, but we'll get started in just a minute. What I want to do first is kind of lay it out and find where my pit's going to be. I've pretty much got an idea right here, but lay it out, look at it, see if that's where I like it, then we'll start putting the pieces together. So I'll be right back when I change this camera angle. Alright guys, what I've done is I've laid out my fire pit, and the reason I wanted to go on and kind of lay it out and see where it is, I wanted to make sure I had room between my canopy of my shelter and the fire pit so that smoke didn't come back in here, but also sparks and that, and I had room to move and to work in this general area before it. So I'm pretty pleased with it. I've got, of course, my two big logs are going to anchor the edges of it. I'm going to build my reflector right back there, and this will be my heating and cooking area, and we'll get more into that in just a minute. Okay guys, first thing I'm going to do is to get my poles ready to drive into the ground to build my reflector wall. But before we get to that, let me tell you what I did. I went in and dug out a small trench on each side of these big end logs just to have something for them to set down in where they wouldn't tend to roll in or out of the fire. So they're kind of set in place, and those should be there for a good long time. And I can change out my back log as it burns up, or this log in the front to protect and keep my fire from coming out this way. And I can remove this easy enough if I don't want it or don't need it there for cooking, say, with a small fire. But I like where it's at. I think that's going to work out good. So let me show you what I'm going to do on the tops of these poles. I'm just going to bevel the edges of this just a little bit to keep it from splintering out when I drive them into the ground, and then I'm going to put a point on the end to make the driving easier. And all we're going to do is just go around the top of this thing and just very gently bevel the ends of it, and that'll keep it from splitting and mushrooming out as we drive that in. Let's see what we can do putting a point on these. Just hold it up on my anvil here, my log. Just just going to gently put a little point to that. Doesn't have to be real sharp, just enough to separate that ground as it goes through and help us to drive these posts in. Alright, let's get started here. First thing I want to do is do a little bit of measuring. This is my largest reflector log here, and I had mentioned in our last video we have a ton of old sweet gum around here. Very easy to cut, saw, so I just went and cut me some pieces to prep this, and I'm going to use this as my reflector wall. But this is the largest of the diameter of these logs, so I want to just kind of lay it right here and see. Alright, if that's where I want to begin, lay those there. And I'm going to get right out here. Let me grab my baton. A little hole there. I want to come close to the outside, and I'm just going to start driving this into the ground. What I will do, I'm going to speed this up for the process. I'll drive another one there, and then I'm going to set number 2 right back here, and we will, to make this reflector wall, drop these logs down between here. Once we get all 4 of these posts driven into the ground, lay those up, and we'll do this in high speed to see if I can speed this up to show you the whole process. But just getting these dripping down good and solid into the ground. Okay, what I'm going to do here, guys, is tie this one off and see if I can show you a little closer of what I'm doing here. Nothing fancy. Taking a little bank line and just going to tie this up good and tight right here, and then I will cut these off just above my ropes here so I don't have these sticking up like this. First thing, let me get it in closer. Alright, just going around the back, tying a little knot in the end of my bank line so it doesn't pull through. Just make one loop around, tie another half hitch knot there, and make that a slip knot. So I've attached it here to there's a knot right here. I'm going to tie it under that where it'll be pulling over and down at the same time. See how that works. Yeah. like that. Then I'm just figure eighting it around here, come back around. On the bottom side of that first loop, bottom side of this one, we want to be up under the bottom so it's pulling itself tight, and just figure eight that thing around 3-4 times, enough just to hold those two posts and all of this in place, allow it to stand up together. And then I'm just coming around the back, doing a half hitch, if you will, right around here, just around. Tighten it down a couple times. That just kind of cinches it up for me. Then I'll come around one more time, do 2 loops or 2 wraps in that half hitch, pull it up tight, tie me off a little knot there, and we're done. And the reason I'm tying it off permanent, because if I ever take this off, basically I'm just going to cut this and put new on over it. But this is a tarred bank line, and it's holding that in place pretty good. So let me grab my Bahco Laplander saw. We'll cut these off. Taking my Bahco Laplander, I'm going to come up about a hand from the top. Just in case I want to use that for some to hang something on pot. I love this Bahco. It is so easy to use and operate. Really works well, but may even bevel that a little bit. But now we've got that set. Let's do it to the other end. Here about that tall. Ooh. And done. Done and done. Okay guys, we've got our fireplace in place. That is about, I know I cut these, this reflector wall is 5 feet long, these logs were, or poles. So we're talking about 4.5 foot fire. So here in South Mississippi, you know, this is pretty much a long fire for us. If we had a bigger tent, we could have moved this a little closer, made it longer to have a true long fire. But if we get a good bed of coals and a fire going in this, it's going to throw plenty of heat into this shelter here. But like I said, in South Mississippi, we only have about 10 days of really sub-zero freezing type temperatures around here. And if we were staying out here in that time, you know, it just doesn't happen that often. This camp will be used more during hunting season when the temperatures are above freezing, and all we need is a basic fire here for warmth and for cooking. So this pretty much gets our fire pit ready. Let's start building the kitchen part. Let's build us some cooking utensils, cooking equipment that we can use to heat water to cook. And this will be an ongoing thing. We will add new pieces to the cook kit, but today what I want to do next is just build a simple tripod and set it up where we can use it in multiple ways to cook over this fire pit that we built, and then maybe we'll fire this baby up and see how she works. I'll be right back when we get my tripod logs together, and we'll go through the wrapping and frapping of a tripod in just a minute. Okay, what we're going to do next is build our tripod. I'm going to begin by just taking a piece of bank line, tying a knot in the end, creating again one of those simple slip knots, half hitch, tied around there, Pull that up and let that knot jam into it where it won't come out. We're going to come around here, cinch that down. And we've got, let's see if you, yeah, you can see that. There. And what we're going to do is start wrapping these three, trying to keep them together. Come around. 2, 3, and about every 3 wraps we want to pull that good and tight. Let's wrap it again. 1, 2, and 3. Give it a good. Then we'll run this down between these two. We're going to start what we call frapping. Frapping is coming in between these. We did this with the bipods. We're making a tripod today. Bi was the 2. We're going to frap the 3 of them together, and we do that coming down, bring it back up, and again start wrapping these loops here to bind them down in there and really make them tight around all 3 of these. So we come there, let's run it down, get it tight, there we go. Come back up through the middle, pulling that tight. It's getting so tight I'm having trouble getting it down through there. There we go. 2. Got a little gap right here if I can get it up through there. There we go. Pulling tight. And there's a little hole. Now we pulled that up, it's good and tight. We're going to come around here. Come up between and frap. This side, pulling it in tight. Go down between, pull it tight. Wrapping and frapping. Let's get that up where you can see a little better. Alright, got our tripod in place. Good and tight right up there. Good and sturdy. Now we could do a lot of different things with a tripod. Very versatile piece of camp equipment. We could tie off a lashing for a spit type cook here, but what I want to do is create traditional camps would use a forked stick on each side to make their spit across. I want to use our tripod that way, and seen a lot of examples on YouTube of folks doing it, but we're going to get us that forked stick, lash it here where we can use it as a spit, as a pot hanger. We're also going to be able to hang a pot from here and adjust the height to wherever we want. I'm going to use this nice purple cordage I've got here to do that, and easy to see and find. But let's play around with this thing, and like I say, it'll be this whole camp kitchen will be a growing, evolving system. We'll add, take away, till we get it tweaked to exactly what we want, how we like it, and what we want to use it for. I've also got a grate over there that I found at a garage actually in my father's garage actually, but brought it out here and it's going to set it up in here. So let's play around with a few things and see what we can do to make this a true cooking kitchen and have the tools and the equipment that we need. Be right back. Alright guys, what I've done is I've gone out and found some forks. Got 3 of them. We're going to put them on this tripod here in a minute. And what I've done is I've got my fork, and on the back side I've just flattened that off a little bit. And then where I mount those on the poles of the tripod, I'm going to flatten it off a little bit too, so they'll won't roll on that. They'll have flat surface to flat surface. And then I'm going to do some little simple grooves on the inside where they'll grab to this and tie it tight. So what I'm going to do is just make a couple little simple saw cuts like that. Just barely going in because we're going to use that bank line. And what this will do is allow it to grab into that wood a little better through that. That ought to work. And do that on the upper side and then the bottom side here. Through there we'll tie it off. Put a little groove there. About 1/4 of an inch down. And then as we wrap these, that bank line will have something to get into and grab a hold of. So we're going to do all 3 of these that way. And this one's a little bigger, so I'm going to put it on the back side of that tripod on the back leg, and these 2 will be on the front leg. Okay guys, what I've got here is my tripod and my poles here. Now I'm just going to show you a little real quick measuring device. Take a piece of cordage, this old purple I had somewhere, and what I've done is tied a knot every 6 inches in it. Just gives me something out here to measure if I need things pretty much the same length. And of course I can take it from the knot here, that's 6 foot or 6 inches a foot, 18 inches 2 foot, and so on. And what I want to do is to mount these forks 3 foot up the thing. So we're going to go 6, 12, 2 foot, half, 3 foot. So I'm going to put it down there, and boom, right there is where I want my fork to be on these. When I look at that, I think I'm going to go up another 6 inches. So let's go 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot and a half to the bottom. Alright. So right here is my 3.5 feet. I'll make me a little mark there. Straight across, because these are all the same length, so I can mark this. 1 and boom, right across there. So that gives me a mark. Then what I want to do, as I said, the middle one is going to be my back leg, and I want it on the inside, and I want the 2 front legs that will be out here, they'll be on the outside. So when I match these together like this, here, this will make it on the inside, and we can show you in a little bit when we get this put together what this will help us do and provide for us by having this one on the inside and these 2 on the front or the outside. So once we get those in place, and I showed you where we had flattened the back side of this, So I'm putting my mark is right here. I want my fork to set right there, so I want to flatten out a little right up here. Right there. Like I said, all we want is so that that doesn't roll a whole lot when we lash this thing together. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I've got a little bit of a bend right there. Tell you what. Let me grab my hatchet right here. I'm going to flatten that out some more where it'll set a little bit flusher. Let me put my knife up here for a second. Let's see. Ah, nice. See, that will fit a little bit flush there, or better, more flusher, if you will. I know that's terrible. Get us back. Alright, and I want to flatten out from here. Yep. Let's go right here. Alright, let's grab the wrong one there. There we go. Now, that's pretty nice. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I've got this one, that's number 1. I'm going to set it right there. We're going to do 2 and 3 on across, and then we'll lash them together. Okay, we've got our faces flattened out here. Here is our mark where I want the fork to be on each one. So now let's lash these together. And that's our first one measured right. What I'm going to take. Good old bank line. Get plenty of it off. Put that back. Lay that aside. Tag it up again. Make the loop. Simple slip knot. Oh, hold on. Jumped the gun on that. Well, no, I didn't. Just cinch it on here to start with, and there's, get it in that bottom loop, and I'm going to twist this around a little bit so it's not setting on that knot. Alright, there we go. Let's just start wrapping. Okay, top of one. Take a few minutes to do this, but that is really tight, very tight, just by itself on that. But by flattening both sides of that, it gives it something flush to mount to instead of it being round and trying to roll on each other. Something flat, and then those grooves give that bank line something to grab a hold of and really hold it tight. So I'm going to wrap this, and we'll do the other two, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, we've got our forks now on our tripod. I've gone out and cut, I think this is a little hickory, maybe a little oak, but a stick that will fit right across there. We can hang pots on it, hang our water bottle for heating. Other thing I want to add to it is I had this piece of cordage. What I want to do, I've cut this small toggle around here. Tie that slip knot again. Get it good and tight and pull it up tight. I have notched it in the middle. So now we've got a pot hanger that can go down to there, so we can wrap that around. Wrap it around a couple times and just tie it off. Because we will want to adjust this. Put a little knot there. May be useful sometime. Anyway, alright, we can hang it as low as we want, and we want to adjust it. Just loop it around. We can raise it up to whatever height we want. Lower it. This will go through the bale. I didn't bring a pot with me today, but we'll do that in a cooking and demonstrate it. But we can hang this through the bale and just hang our pot anywhere we want. Totally adjustable to any height we might have there. And if we want to take it off, we can. But just wrap it around, and there's our toggle. And with our tripod, you know, if we don't want it, we just set it over out of the way till we're ready to use it. Lay our sticks, pot holders, our tripod is out of the way. But I've got this campfire grate, and what is really neat about it, I can set it in here, set pots, grill steaks, whatever, or I can turn it, if I've just got a small fire going, set it right there, still have fire over here. This is the grilling side, the pot cooking side. I think that'll come in real handy right there to do what we need. So the camp kitchen is temporarily ready to go. Get all my scrap bank line out of here. And also, let's go grab some tinder and fire this baby up and see how it works. Alright, let's get it started. What I've done is gone out and just picked up some deadfall around. Get a few of mine. We're not going to build a big fire today, but enough. Get some of my smalls here to get that fire going. Lay those right there. My pencil size sticks. I'm going to lay down here at the feet. Some more of this pencil lead size stuff. Break it up. Usually take you just a few minutes to get some materials you need, just going around and snapping off good, dry, dead material. Here's some of my little bigger stuff. Lay it out. Sort it. And then what I went and pulled off of that cedar tree we had is a bunch of this bark, and I just want to process this up some. And you can just walk up and basically peel this off or get your knife. Come off in strips like that and then just shred it. You want to get that surface area. Let's lay that right there and see if we can strike get a fire going. Got my Ferrocerian rod here on my Mora, and let's see what happens. There we go. There we go. Chin. Give it a little air there. Get some more of these shavings around here. And just give it some time. Well, guys, we have, would we say, christened the new camp fireplace and kitchen. And next time we'll maybe add some more to the kitchen. Come out here, maybe cook a little something that day. We're going to be continuing to modify, upgrade, improve our shelter. And then we're going to start building some equipment to allow us to, as Dave Canterbury would say, smooth it when we're into the woods. But this is a good start to our camp kitchen. We've got our tripod made. We'll make some pot hangers. I'll bring some pots out next time, and we'll try cooking something over this camp kitchen. As I always do, I want to end with one thought, a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Life is not a destination, life is a journey. So come join us as we journey to self-reliance in the great outdoors. I'm David Fields, and you've been watching Field Skills.